we're going to try something just a little bit different today. So let's just jump in and see how it goes. This one is called the 3-4-2-1. There's nothing on the Steam Workshop page that I got this from except an image of a player, no description, no anything. But now here's where it changes. I've often said one save does not equate to the other save. So you can have 5-10 different saves of the same tactic, and you could have 5 to 10 different results completely. Relegation to promotion to top of the league and everything. What I've done with this one, it was actually by mistake. I went through the save on one day with this 3-4-2-1 tactic and then completely forgot it was there, and I did it again. And I figured, you know what? Let's just bring you both and kind of show you what I talk about. You will definitely see some different results in the tables and all that, and the players and everything, but the underlying data is what counts. And while they are different because the teams did differently in the tables, overall, the shape is the same. Some of the numbers are just heightened because some did better, others did worse. So we're going to jump into the Premier League first and see how our teams of Liverpool and Aston Villa did. And then later on, we will see how our championship side of Ipswich Town did. But Premier League first, let's get into it. So now I'm not going to go through each individual save as I would normally. I'm just going to kind of disperse them throughout and see how it goes. But this is my first test. Liverpool came in 5th with 68 points, 79 goals. Not great. Aston Villa in 8th, still getting Conference League next season, but 56 points, 54 points definitely did not work. But now this was my second test. Liverpool coming in first, 88 points, just a little bit above average, 91 goals, not too bad, although we have seen higher. Aston Villa come in second with 78 points, again, just a little bit higher than average, 87 goals, not too bad. So what I am going to do from here on out, I am going to use this save as kind of the baseline, and I'm going to go through the rest of the video as I normally would until I get to the data hub, where I will go back to the old one and kind of show you the mix between. But everything else from here on out, except for the data hub, will be from this. So let's just jump into Liverpool's schedule and see how they did in this one at least. So Liverpool coming up against Aston Villa in the Carabao Cup 4th round, losing out in penalties 1-1. They get to the semi-finals of the FA Cup, but lose out to Manchester City in extra time. However, they do beat Bayer Leverkusen in the Europa League final 3-0. Quite the thrashing. So overall for this season, not too bad. First in the league is fantastic. Winners of the Europa League is fantastic. Semi-finals of the FA Cup, yeah, you should have done a little bit better, but it is Manchester City. Carabao Cup, yeah, we're going to forget that one completely. Just to show you quickly how the old save did, Liverpool in 5th again within the Premier League. Europa League, they got knocked out in the round of 16 by Barcelona. FA Cup, knocked out in the quarters by Wolves. And Carabao Cup, they did win. Back to the winning save. Squad-wise, they've got plenty of green here to show off. 23 goals for Salah, 20 for Gakpo. Very well done. Assists, 16 for Andrew Robertson. McAllister with 13. An average rating, 7-4-0 for Kelleher. But 7-2-6 for Mazraoui. Wow. But for the longtime servant, Konate's in there with his 7-2-5. While Aston Villa's winning season in the domestic cups, beating Liverpool as we saw, but losing out immediately after in the quarterfinals, 0-2 to Tottenham. Out in the FA Cup 4th round, though, in a replay against Swansea. Not very good there. And unfortunately, out in the Europa Conference League against Fiorentina, our old foes. Both legs, well, home draw, but still. You're out in the quarters. Not very well done there. So overall, quarterfinals of both the Carabao Cup and the Conference League, you should have gotten something, especially with a second place finish. But overall, you can't really be too unhappy, but you definitely would have liked to have picked up one trophy at least. And just going back to the not so much winning save, they do come up runners up in the Conference League. Again, they're 8th place, though, in the Premier League. And 3rd round is where they drop out in both the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. But back to the winning save, as you can see for Aston Villa, goals 24 for Diaby, not too bad. He's seen higher, though. 12 assists for Matty Cash, 10 for Digne, Luis, and Tielemans. An average rating, Austin Guy with 7.38. But long time sort of serving, 7.19 for Lucas Digne. So now we're at the data hub. We're going to go through this like a normal tactic talk that I always do, but doing very well attacking wise. Not quite, this is Liverpool, not quite all the way through the roof, which is what we'd like to see, which is interesting considering they came in first. Defensively covering every base though. Goals per game, 2.39, 0.78 conceded, 1.23 XG against. But now, if we pit that up against their old saves where they didn't win so much, it is still a very familiar shape. I mean, all around defensively, the goals just aren't there. The attacking side just isn't up there. And that's what you would expect with a tactic like this that kind of brought Liverpool down to 5th place. They just couldn't get the goals. They couldn't find the back of the net. They couldn't get their attacking prowess back. And that's what we're seeing here. But and this is kind of why I do this. And I tell you that, yes, each save is different, but the underlying data is pretty much very similar shape, similar everything. In the old one, it's just 2.08 goals per game, 1.16 conceded, 1.09 XG against. And as we get to Aston Villa, you can see the goals per game is there. Unfortunately, nothing else. You've got good attacking, good defending wise at least, but goals per game is 2.29, 1.29 conceded, 1.4 XG against. And again, in the old save, yeah, similar looking numbers, just down in everything. I mean, goals per game is not there at all. You've got some defensive woes. Goals per game, though, 1.42, 1.37 conceded. So overall, just a worse season, but similar shapes, I think, in the data hub. But now, sticking with the winning save from here on out, Liverpool in first with 2.32 points per game, Aston Villa with 2.05. Most goals, Liverpool with 91, Aston Villa with 87. So it is a very close race right there. Fewest shots against the Liverpool in 6 with 349, most possession with 54%, and most dribbles made, Liverpool in 7th with 634, Aston Villa in 8th with 619. Best pass completion, Aston Villa with 88%, as did Liverpool, and most shots for Liverpool in 5th with only 472, Aston Villa in 8th with 420. But now taking a look at Ipswich Town in 4th place, 85 points, 89 goals. That goals mark is really down from where they're expected to be. 85 points actually is as well. However, they finally get through the playoffs and into the final, and they beat Leeds 1-0. Promotion bound at least. Domestic Cups out in the Carabao Cup 3rd round, 0-4 against Sheffield United. Ouch. But out in the FA Cup 4th round, 0-2 against Manchester City. So overall, yeah, 5th place, not a great positioning for them. They've definitely had a lot better in the recent times. FA Cup, Carabao Cup, yeah, I'm not too bothered. And looking just quickly at the previous save for Ipswich Town, you can see they came in 1st place this time. It's basically flip-flopped. FA Cup, though, 3rd round. Carabao Cup, 2nd round. Not great there. Squad-wise here, you can see only 3 in the green. 10 goals. That's the highest for Chaplin. That is it. Hurst with only 9. Assists, 15 for Leif Davis. At least he's got it. Wes Burns with 12. Average rating, Leif Davis with a 7.42. Championship stats, 1.73 points per game. Most goals, Ipswich in 4th with 92. Fewest shots against in 8th with 423. Most possession, 53%. Most dribbles made with 808. And then most shots for 2nd place with 693. Definitely low for them. Okay, well, we've gone back and forth between the two different saves and how different they really are, but the underlying data is still there. Let's just take a look at the tactic and see how it worked. A sweeper keeper in support is where we start. A wide center back on the left and the right in defend. A ball-playing defender in defend in the center spots. Wing back in attack on both sides. A deep-lying playmaker on both sides in support. An advanced playmaker in attack next to another one, and then an advanced forward in attack up front. Attacking mentality, in possession attacking width is fairly wide, approach play is pass into space, overlap on the left and the right, focus play down the left and right, passing directness is shorter, tempo is slightly higher, mixed crosses, play for set pieces, run at defense, and be more expressive. That play for set pieces doesn't always work very well for some of the bigger teams that I've seen at least. Counter press, counter, distribute to the center backs and take short kicks in transition. And then out of possession, a high press line of engagement, a higher defensive line, trigger press much more often, prevent your goalkeeper distribution, and step up more. So overall, how did it work and why do I do the tactics the way I do them? Well, some people do complain and say, hey, the way you're doing your tactics just doesn't work because you can have one save that completely and drastically changes to the next save. The reason I do this and the reason I show it is because of that data hub and the data behind it. Yes, in this save, Ipswich Town didn't do great. In the other save, they did. If we look at Liverpool and Aston Villa, they did fantastic in this save, not so much the other save. But in this save, same shape in the data hub for the most part, and just inflated numbers. Whereas the previous save, same shape, just deflated numbers. And you can chalk that up to so many different things. A loss could bring the morale down and then they kind of fall down the hill from there. In this case, I actually did take a look. Salah in the old save where they didn't do very well, Salah was out for a total of 2 months, Alisson for 5 weeks, and Trent for 6 weeks, as well as a whole slew of other injuries there. In this save, Salah was only out for 8 days. Alisson was only out for 0 days, actually, and Trent was out for 3 weeks. So If injuries are plaguing you, yeah, that's going to be a big hamper on your data and on the overall tactic itself and how useful it is, how effective it is. But if you've got a fully fit squad time and time again, you're probably going to be doing fairly well with a lot of these different tactics. But that's just kind of why I show it, why I do it the way I do it. But overall, this tactic seemed to do fairly well, at least in certain respects. I definitely think the goals for is kind of problematic if you're taking control of a team like Liverpool, Manchester City. Yes, Liverpool came in first, but overall, I think you can really score a lot more goals with a much more attacking tactic. I just don't think this tactic really was all as attacking as minded as I've seen in others. But that's where I'm going to end it. I am Stefan FM for the Football Manager blog channel saying thank you as always for watching. Take care and enjoy.